Hello and welcome to the first episode of Redstone Ready, a series where I will take you from being a redstone noob to pro. Today's episode will cover the following topics: redstone dust, signal strength, and input devices. Let's get started. Alright guys, so first things first, we have to have a world to actually practice our redstone in. So go ahead and go to single player, create new world, name it whatever you want. Go to creative mode, more world options, super flat, customize, presets, redstone ready, use preset, done, create new world. And as soon as you load in, you'll be in a redstone ready world. Alright, so the first topic of the day, redstone dust. This is used to carry redstone signal from up to 15 blocks away from a power source. So if you see, we place this torch here, it's going to power this dust, and it turns brighter red, and it has these particle effects going on. This indicates that it's powered and it can power a redstone device. However, this block is 16 blocks away from it, and so it doesn't get any power. Now it's important to keep in mind that although it goes 15 blocks from a power source, that doesn't mean it's 15 blocks in total. So if we place this torch in the center of the line, we now get power to both ends. While this stuff's good to know, you might be asking yourself, well, that's great, but how do I power this stuff? Well, this is where redstone inputs come in. Let's cover each of these briefly and how they work. So redstone inputs strongly power a block, or in some cases, redstone dust directly. So that probably didn't make a lot of sense. So let's talk about weak and strong power before we move on. Now when we refer to a block as being strongly powered, it means that it can carry power from dust and it can output to a redstone device such as this lamp. Now whenever we have a weakly powered device, it can't carry signal through dust, but it can carry to a device such as the lamp again. Note that whenever you put signal into a transparent block, it will not carry signal at all. Okay, back to redstone inputs. Each of these blocks are redstone inputs, meaning they don't need power from another source, they can provide power themselves. So levers and buttons can be placed on any face of a block, even the underside, and they strongly power a block, meaning that you can draw a redstone signal from any point of the block, and they weakly power all of the air blocks around it. Levers can be toggled on and off by right-clicking, while buttons give a short pulse depending on what type of button. A stone button gives a shorter pulse than a wooden button, which gives 50% more pulse than a stone button. Redstone blocks act as a strongly powered block themselves, meaning they give a weak power to all air blocks surrounding them. You see here, it won't power this solid block, however, it will power redstone dust right next to it. Detector rails weakly power all the air blocks around them, as well as strongly power the block on which they sit whenever a minecart goes over the top of them like so, and deactivate whenever it leaves. A trap chest gives off a signal whenever it's opened, and it powers the block directly below it strongly and all other air blocks around it weakly, with the exception that it does not power a block above it. An observer observes the block in front of its face and gives a strong redstone signal to the block behind it anytime it's updated, like this. So we'll go over the comparator in depth because it's arguably the most complicated block that we're going to take a look at today, and honestly I can make an entire episode on it, so we'll leave that for another time. However, I will just say it draws an output from a chest or any other device that can store blocks, and some other blocks like item frames as well. Again, we'll cover all those in depth later, but let's just say for now it'll strongly power the block it faces into, and it can pull directly from the storage container or through a block that's next to a storage container. Redstone torches. They can be placed on the tops and sides of blocks, and they strongly power the block above them as well as weakly power the blocks around them. But whenever you power a block right next to them, it turns them off. This makes them great for carrying redstone signals straight upwards. As you can see here, we have what's known as a redstone torch tower. If we flick this, it'll unpower that, powering that one, and so on, until it powers our output, which is this lamp here. Now, another great use for this is if you want to invert the signal. You can, for instance, place a block with a redstone torch on the side with a signal going into it, and when you flick the lever, now the light turns off, and whenever you have the lever off, the light turns on. Daylight detectors are kind of an odd one. They don't give a full redstone signal unless the time of day is right in the middle of the day, basically when the sun is highest, but they'll power all blocks around them, including on top of them and below them. Now, you can right-click these to change these to nighttime mode, where they will no longer power it unless the time is nighttime, or if it's daytime, they can also be powered if there's a block blocking direct sky access. Hopefully that makes sense. The next redstone input device is tripwire hooks. There has to be 2 of them placed on the sides of solid blocks, with string in between. Up to 40 blocks of string, I believe, can be placed, and it strongly powers the blocks that they're attached to whenever something enters, and this goes for players, mobs, and entities. And the last up are pressure plates. Wooden pressure plates give a full signal strength whenever an item, mob, or player are on top of it. A stone pressure plate gives a full signal strength whenever a mob or player stands on them, and do nothing whenever an item is on top of it. Keep in mind, all of these pressure plates strongly power the block below it. The golden pressure plates, or light-weighted pressure plates as they're called, give a 1 redstone signal strength per player, mob, or item placed on it. Now, keep in mind that, yes, 1 strength per item, and if you put multiple items on there, it may briefly go like that until they turn into a stack. Whenever you have a whole stack of items on top of this pressure plate, it'll only give one signal output. Now, same goes for the heavy-weighted pressure plate, or the iron pressure plate, except these require much more. One extra thing I didn't want to forget to go over is that redstone dust itself can take power from a block, rather it looks like it's running into it or not. Either way here, no matter what direction it's going, or if it's in dot form like that, you can see it takes power from this block. Hey guys, I'm trying to keep these videos as short as possible and to the point. That said, I hope you enjoyed and learned something, and if you did, be sure to smash that like button and be sure to subscribe for more content. If you have any questions, go ahead and post them down in the comments section and I'll see if I can answer them. Thanks again guys, my name is Kyro, this is Redstone Ready, and I'm out. I'll see you next time.